This was taken, 2 days ago in Guangxi province. Oh, that's loud. I'll bring that down. Yeah. I mean, it's insane. It's insane. They had like 80 centimeters or whatever it is, or millimeters, sorry, in an hour.
Yeah.
And we just want to bring it back and tell everyone that flooding is a huge issue in China for a number of reasons. Bad planning from the government where they diverted waters where they shouldn't go. They dammed up places that shouldn't be dammed up. And remember, this was back in the 60s and the 50s and the 70s when they didn't really know what they were doing. It was Mao Zedong's like, let's create dams because that's what a country does.
Dams.
Yeah. So it really diverted waters into the wrong places. And so it's really had a negative impact on people. Number two is the bad drainage. And bad drainage is it's almost like a prerequisite for a Chinese city, is to have bad drainage. When they plan it out, they're like, drains? No.
Well, that's what they find, fake drains.
Yeah, they're like...
Literally. We have video of that.
Exactly.
You pull up the grate and it's just land.
Blank. Yes, exactly. So yes, drainage is a problem. So anyway, we have been seeing major floods.
Yeah. It's 80 centimeters of rain. But
yeah, centimeters, sorry. 80 millimeters centimeters. But that was in an hour.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, in an hour. 60 to 80 centimeters in an hour or something.
What?
Yeah, some ridiculous thing like that.
That's wild.
Yeah. So it's pretty bad. Anyway, moving on from the floods, I wanted to talk about my favorite, in my opinion, wait for it.
I feel like it's got to be 80 millimeters if it was in an hour.
Yeah, then it maybe is 80 meters. Just check it out, Guangxi.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to talk again about what's, in my opinion, the dirty thief, cheap knockoff Porsche that the Xiaomi made, Millet. And there's a reason why I'm bringing this up again. It seems like I bring it up every week, but there's a reson I'm bringing it up again because it's kind of relevant. This post has been going around now in China. There was another, there have been a lot of high-profile crashes. I did want to give credit where credit's due here, okay? This time the airbags went off, okay? But they had a fairly minor crash and the wheel went flying off. Okay. But here's the important thing. See, according to this post, they looked at the official insurance figures. Because, look, in China, sales figures are not reliable because the companies do all sorts of tricks, like buy the cars themselves, do all sorts of weird things, export cars without registering them, things like that, and say, hey, look, we sold a lot. But insurance figures are generally quite reliable because when people insure the car, it goes into a public database of the insurance company. The insurance company will say, okay, we've got, say, 10,000 of these Xiaomis registered. And you can also see how many insurance claims. So based on the insurance figures, of the cars, the thousands of these Xiaomi cars, these knockoff, in my opinion, knockoff Porsche Xiaomis that they've sold, 20% have been in accidents. What are you looking at?
Nothing. I was 80 millimeters.
80 millimeters. So I was right.
You're right.
So 80 millimeters in an hour.
Didn't know it was in an hour.
Yeah, in an hour. So anyway, 20% of the cars sold, according to this post that's been going around, and according to the insurance figures, 20% of those cars have been in accidents or failed and had insurance claims against them. That is a very bad failure rate. If you've got like a couple of percent failure rate, that's acceptable. But 20%? Okay?
Yikes.
And I mean, I can believe it because look at all these little...
social media posts in China.
Yep. Social media posts of them being crashed and breaking down or what have you. And I see these things crashing every day on my social media. I see, So yeah, it's not turning out that well. Yeah. If that's correct, if that post is correct, think about it. Imagine Toyota releases a new model and 20% of them end up being insurance claimed because of crashes and fires and breaking down and stuff. That's huge.
Rough. That's rough. But in China, you cover it up.
Yeah, you can cover it up. Anyway. So
it doesn't matter because it doesn't exist.
No, it just doesn't exist. Buy Chinese EVs, they're great.
Chinese EVs are very dangerous, as we've talked about multiple times. Mm-hmm. Not only are they very dangerous, but they're also incredible risks to the U.S. economy because the Chinese government subsidizes all these vehicles, dumps them on the rest of the world, and then the rest of the world can't compete with their own brands. That's unfair trade. It's
very unfair trade. It's against the World Trade Organization rules, but they just flaunt that. They don't care.
So not only was this these tariffs set to take off here. Mm-hmm. Hold on. Not only was it just the tariffs for EVs, it was also Biden is also launching an investigation into Chinese trade practices across shipbuilding, maritime, and logistics sectors, and that could lead to more tariffs. And more importantly, this is also about metal exports and stuff, and imports. The Biden administration has also been pressuring neighboring Mexico to prohibit China from selling its metal products to the U.S. indirectly from there. A big problem that we've had in America is that China's using conduit countries.
Yeah, like surrogates, basically.
Yeah, surrogates to set up different factories and export depots to be able to get sanctioned goods or tariffed goods and not have to pay those tariffs. And then they go to China or go to America anyway, but they don't say made in China anymore.
Yeah, say made in Mexico, even though they're made in China.
Yeah.
And then they're like shipped to Mexico, and then they just stamp a made in Mexico and send it over the border.
So it looks like we'll see, but hopefully this administration has been pressuring Mexico to not allow that. So hopefully some of those loopholes will be tied up.
I think it's unfair because, made in Mexico, they've put a lot of effort into making that mean something, quality.
Yes,
And then China comes along and just brings a made in China thing, and now you've got a made in Mexico. You're expecting quality, but it's actually a Chinese product. It's not fair.
So U.S. is now Germany's biggest trade partner. Everyone was doom and gloom about Germany, including us.
Yeah.
We were very worried about the trajectory Germany was taking. They were kind of the one bucking Western Europe's trend of like cozying up to China because so much of their industry relied
like VW
on it, especially
and stuff.
VW, especially their auto industry, especially their metal works and things like this, industrial industry. And what happened is that I'll just read it. After years of China being Germany's main trade partner, the U.S. looks like it's quietly taking that top spot as this year progresses. Combined exports and imports between Germany and the U.S. total $63 billion between January and March of 2024, while trade with China came just below 60 billion euros. Germany has adapted its China strategy, urging companies to de-risk from the country last year. And that's something we heard last year. We heard about de-risking. Germany's going to de-risk.
Yes.
Meaning that they can't just like pull the plug, but they have to find alternatives that make Germany a safer economy because China's so unpredictable and has been so unfair.
Yeah,
right?
very unfair.
And it seems to be working. The diplomatic efforts between Germany and America have been great. We're watching kind of the rest of the world fall in line right now because dealing with China is too risky.
Correct. She does a U-turn.
That's absolutely insane.
It's
and
terrifying. He misses every time. This is the safest place in the world for this rat.
Whoa. Oh, just separate.
That was actually kind of cool.
Separated.
Yeah. Let's see, yeah.
What happened?
Yay.
That goes really far down.
What's going on here? Oh well.